before we discuss one of the most important theory from examination point of view, that is Oparin-Haldane theory, we will first be discussing the difference in the primitive atmosphere and the modern atmosphere on Earth. So let us discuss a few points so that you have a fair idea about what does the theory convey. So first point is that the primitive atmosphere on Earth was highly reducing. So it was highly reducing, and the modern atmosphere that we have now on Earth is highly oxidizing. Now, since the word reducing conveys the presence of hydrogen gas and the word oxidizing conveys the presence of or the abundance of oxygen gas. So, it must be very clear to you, if the primitive atmosphere is highly reducing, means it has abundance of hydrogen gas, and the modern atmosphere is highly oxidizing, it means it has abundance of oxygen gas. Now, what is the role of this reducing atmosphere? If molecules were initially formed on Earth, what happened? They must have oxidized or used by organisms. So, they must not have formed actually. But since the primitive atmosphere on Earth was highly reducing, it means the molecules were not getting oxidized or broken into some other simpler parts. So this reducing atmosphere actually allowed on Earth the formation of complex organic molecules, the complex polymers that were the basis of life on Earth. Next point that we are going to cover is that the primitive atmosphere was having no ozone layer, so UV rays reached the Earth directly, because ozone layer is the only layer which is protecting us now from the harmful UV rays of the sun. However, now for due to pollution it is getting thinner from the Antarctic region of the world, but in the earlier atmosphere there was no ozone layer at all, means UV rays directly reached the Earth. But in the modern atmosphere now we have thick ozone layer which has minimized reaching these UV rays so that we are protected. Then all these points that favored the formation of primitive atmosphere actually favored chemical evolution, means the formation of complex organic molecules from inorganic molecules was favored due to the presence of primitive atmosphere, due to the presence of reducing atmosphere, due to the presence of hydrogen in the atmosphere, due to the presence of UV rays in the atmosphere. Since these conditions are not prevalent now, this theory of chemical evolution cannot be proved now. But if we talk about the primitive Earth, these conditions actually favored chemical evolution. The theory of chemical evolution is given by Oparin and Haldane, which we are going to discuss now. But before that, remember the difference between the primitive atmosphere and the modern atmosphere. Let us recall, primitive atmosphere is highly reducing because it contains mostly which gas? It contains hydrogen. And there was no ozone, so UV rays directly reached the Earth, and this all favored chemical evolution. Next, if we talk about the modern atmosphere, it is highly oxidizing because we have 20.97% of oxygen and only 0.04% of hydrogen. So it is highly oxidizing in nature. That is why those molecules, this chemical evolution cannot be proved in this modern era. And the next point which conveys that this is not possible is thick ozone layer. The presence of thick ozone layer on the Earth has minimized UV radiation. So the conditions of primitive atmosphere, these all conditions actually favored chemical evolution, which favored the theory which gave evidence and proof to the theory of chemical evolution given by Oparin and Haldane. And then this modern atmosphere was highly oxidizing, which disallows chemical evolution. So based on the conditions of primitive atmosphere, we are going to discuss the theory of chemical evolution given by Oparin and Haldane, which is also known as modern theory. And now, after this discussing this primitive atmosphere and the modern atmosphere concept, we need to discuss that for life to be there, we need some basic requirements, and these basic requirements are nothing but some molecules, some organelles that need to be assembled that provide life. For this, I have made a very simple term that you can actually easily recall. That term is message me. It is M-double-E-me, remember, don't write single E, but M-double-E-me. So this word message and this me, they convey M for molecules. So basically we will be talking about organic molecules. So formation of molecules is must for the origin of life. Secondly, we need self-replicating genetic material. G stands for genetic material. And we'll discuss in detail later on, but this genetic material which is self-replicating is actually RNA, that is ribonucleic acid. Then we move on to the next letter, that is M. Here M stands for membrane. We need a membrane that separates us from the surroundings. So that membrane, that cell membrane. E stands for enzymes. And the second E stands for energy. So what I am trying to say by talking about this term is, I am discussing about prerequisites of life. Means for the initial cells to be formed, what do we actually need? So we are going to recall this by this term, that is message me. M stands for molecules. We are talking about organic molecules. S stands for self-replicating. G stands for genetic material, which is mostly RNA. RNA is ribonucleic acid. M stands for membrane. E stands for enzymes, and this second E stands for energy. Let's discuss about molecules. As you can look into this image, we have small organic molecules which we can also call as monomers, single units. And we have large organic molecules which we can also call as polymers. So simple sugars get converted into carbohydrates. Amino acids, they link up and form proteins. Fatty acids form lipids, and nucleotides from nucleic acids. So the formation of these molecules, these all organic molecules, is very important for the origin of life. Next, we move on to self-replicating genetic material. As you all know that we need some source of genes. We need some hereditary information which can be transferred from one cell to another, from parents to offspring. So this self-replicating genetic material is very important for the formation of proteins, which are the building blocks of a life. Next, you all know that we need some membrane which is going to separate the cell from the surroundings, right? So this cell membrane is also very vital for the formation of first cell of life. Then we talk about enzymes and energy. You all know that enzymes are important for the functioning of the cell. If there are no enzymes, there would be no chemical reactions going in your body. So enzymes are important, and for all these processes to go on, what is another important factor? That is energy. And on primitive earth, this energy came from solar radiations, from UV radiations, right? So these all requirements are important for the formation of first cell of life. Remember, molecules, self-replicating genetic material, membrane, enzymes, and energy.